Today we're going to learn strategies for finding an ancestor through descendancy research. Whether you're just trying to fill in the missing pieces of your pedigree or find names to take to the temple, discovering our ancestors is the heart and soul of family history right now. But people are busy and often have very little time, so how can we help our patrons find a missing name or a name they can take to the temple in a quick and efficient way? Today I want to focus on descendancy research. I know you're already familiar with these three programs, but I want to look at them more in depth and explore the pros and cons of each. We want to know these three programs well and be able to work quickly and efficiently in them and know which one best fits the needs of our patrons. Not everyone is clear on what a descendant is, so be sure to define this as you talk about it to a patron. This often surprises many of us that we can have over 8 million people coming forward from our ancestors' lines. First, determine how much time a patron has and exactly what he or she wants to accomplish. I would open up 4 tabs. The first tab would be in Family Tree. This would be my reference page where I can go get a PIN number of an ancestor or look something up without losing my place on something I might want to explore. The second tab is another one in Family Tree, but this is where I'm going to open up the Descendancy view and start that going. The third tab, I will choose another ancestor's line and open up findarecord.com. I would choose a third ancestor from a different line and open up a fourth tab in Priscilla. Since each of these programs take a little while to populate, this method will save time. In my second tab of Family Tree, choose an ancestor born in the late 1700s or early 1800s. Click on his tree view from the summary box, then click on the I-class icon at the top of the page. Uncheck Portrait box and click on 4 generations. We always tell patrons to look for the green boxes, but we should include the yellow boxes too, which mean there isn't enough information to do the work. The names with purple arrows have no recorded spouses. That is another place we can research. Here is another example of children who have no spouses listed. Here, John A. Arthur married Martha S. Chris. They had 12 children. Sometimes these generation lines are a little hard to distinguish. Notice the purple line to help us see them better. One died at birth. Their first 5 children were married, as shown by this little man and woman icon. Christopher Columbus Arthur had 2 wives. Their last 6 children have no spouses listed. This would be unusual. All the purple arrows show people with no spouses listed. Looking at the purple box, Josiah Cowles Atkinson married Mary Ellen Buckley. They had 3 children. But Isaac is the only child married in this example. Jerusha and Martha have no spouses listed. Look for married couples who don't show children also. You may have to come forward 1 generation in some cases. In the red box, Alan Atkinson and Mary Margaret Payne have yellow boxes beside their name. They were married, but maybe they had children. All these examples could be temple opportunities. If they have blue squares or hints beside their name, it can help you find information very quickly. Again, unmarried children. Ciela Frances Silva's work has been done, but here on the hint, she has a last name of Barlow, which tells me she was probably married. On Iris Cecil Silva's hints, I see a marriage record. That could be his wife and possible children, waiting for me to find them. All the purple arrows are people who don't have a spouse listed, but you might miss them because they don't have a green or yellow box by their name. Again, I click on hints. Here's a marriage and birth record for Cyrus Edmund Painter. When I find a spouse, I can do all of his or her temple work and their children and their families if they qualify. I can seal a spouse of my direct line to their parents even if the parents don't have their work done. I cannot, however, do the spouse's parents or the spouse's siblings' temple work. Know that you can click on any of the squares on the right side to see more details. So the pros of this program: it's easy to identify boxes, identifies collateral lines if listed in Family Tree, easy to click on hints from the same page and add to sources, gives research suggestions, identifies data problems, can click on any box and see more details, and identifies those who do not have enough information. When I put an asterisk by it, that means that this feature is unique to this particular program and does not exist on the other programs we are talking about today. The cons of this program: it takes a little while to load or populate. It has limited filters. It's a little hard to follow the generation lines. We will now talk about findarecord.com. This is a page where you will see when you first sign in. You don't have to, but be aware that you can, through Chrome or Firefox extensions, put a Find a Record link on your address bar. That allows you to activate Find a Record right from the Details page in Family Tree. To do that, click on either Chrome or Firefox and follow what it tells you to do. It's very easy. If I added this extension and I were on Reuben Notley Thomas's page and wanted to search his line, I would go up to the address bar and click on the Find a Record icon. Then I could adjust the filters on the left and it would start researching whatever information I set the filters to do. So let's talk about the type of filters on Find a Record. Under Who Do You Want to Find, if you put in ancestors, descendants, or both, or cousins, the program does not include spouses. Under Everyone, it searches through anyone connected to your tree, but it gives preference to your direct ancestors and descendants while still allowing collateral lines to be visited if you don't have many direct ancestors and descendants, or if they don't have many research opportunities that they can find. For me, that's kind of a drawback, but I usually put in Everyone. This program can go up to 25 generations, but 4 generations are best. Too many can overwhelm your browser. This is the information you would include in your initial search: pin of an ancestor born in the late 17 or early 1800s, put Everyone, 4 generations, and unclick everything except ordinances if you are finding a name to take to the temple. I had a patron come in that just wanted to find a male that needed baptism and confirmation. Find a Record would be the right place to go because I could uncheck everything except baptism and confirmation. Under the color tabs, besides checking ordinances, you might want to consider other things to check when looking for people. You could look at all the hints for that line. Under the person, I would check missing a given name, missing a name, or missing a surname. Under relationships, I might want to include marriage with no children, missing a father, missing a mother, or missing parents. When I find a record I want to know more about, I click on Details. You can go into Details from any of the colored tabs on the left. Here it tells me some suggestions on how and where to research, or I can click on any of the blue links at the bottom, which populates Albert's information into that program. It also tells me how I am related to this person. I can mark a record as fixed, or I can hide a record. Here I found a death record for Earl, so it is fixed. Let's say I have a lot of pioneer ancestry with one person having 200 duplicates. Find a Record will keep reminding me of all the problems here, but I can't fix it because I have to wait until Family Search can resolve this particular problem. So I can click on Hide, and Find a Record will not keep reminding me of all the problems listed with this person. When I go back into Find a Record later, we can see the program reminds me in a note saying that I have one record hidden. I can click on the Hidden and undo that hide. The help screen is a little confusing. Click on Help, and then when the Research Assistant turns orange, click on Research Assistant, and you can get answers to most of your questions. So the pros to this particular program: it has a lot of filters, can filter specific ordinances, say baptisms and confirmations, able to show how you're related. Through Chrome extension, you can research a person from the Family Search Details page, gives research suggestions, can go into partner sites and research records connected to that person, can hide facts you don't want to see or mark things as fixed. The cons: it takes a long time to load, doesn't identify people who don't have enough information, does not identify collateral lines except maybe a filter set to Everyone, and even then it's kind of limited. We will now start to talk about Priscilla. Priscilla is the one to use if you need a program to load quickly and find end-of-line ancestors. You can click on a dot to freeze the screen and go to that ancestor and view him or her in family tree, or put them in the middle spot to see their ancestors or descendants. Yellow dots mean they died before age 16. Gray dots mean they were born within 110 years and will need permission from the nearest relative before doing the work for them. I can put a pin of any ancestor here. I can go up to 12 generations, but keep it no more than 4 generations so you can see it better. Too many generations can freeze up your browser. Click Refresh All Data if this happens. The newest feature that I really like is that you can create a target zone, like a location or a time period. If a patron is fairly new to Family Tree, I like to start them off finding relatives in the 1800s because records are easy to find in that time period, and I want to teach them how to add sources correctly. This feature keeps them focused in the right direction. So every person with a red square on him or her, the 2 inner circles, is born between the years of 1830 and 1905. Use the wheel on your mouse to zoom in. You can see I have lots of potential names to work on. I randomly picked Jasper Newton. Here's a closer look. All the green circles are ancestors without spouses or children born within my target range. For Jasper Newton Atkinson, I only had his name and the first name of his wife in Family Tree, but I found a great death record that listed his parents and spouse, and from that I was able to find 2 daughters. I can research their families too and do their work if needed. Here is a look at Priscilla Premium. I really like some of the features here. It is a subscription of about $40 a year, but here at the BYU Library it is free. It does all the things that the basic one does, but adds a lot of filters, such as hints, sources, my changes, possible duplicates, ordinances, search, that means searching by name, place, or ID number, or birth, tracking, and status of the tracking. Here you can see I targeted those who were born between 1830 and 1905, shown as red squares, and I turned on the filter named Ordinances, green dots. So when you see green dots on top of these red squares, I know those are the ones who may need their work done within that time period. When I click on a dot, Alice Lydia Aldridge, it shows sources I already have attached on the bottom left. There are direct links to Family Tree, Find My Past and Ancestry, and I can log this person. I clicked on all my green dotted people to make a list in my tracking log, and then I have a list of all the people I want to work on. When I want to save a name to a list, I click on Log This Person. It saves it here under Tracking. When I want to see my list, I click on Log at the top. I can print this list out or come back in a week or so later and pick up where I left off. It saves it for me. Under these columns, I can list in order, priority if anything. Like Alice Lydia Aldridge, my first priority might be finding a death record. Under Notes, I can put anything I want. Under Ordinances, she does not have anything done. Where you see the BCIE listed, this means the temple work has been done for those particular ordinances. Some on this list have only part of their ordinances done. When I want to research a person from this list, I click under their personal identification number, and I can go in to view them in Family Tree, Ancestry, or Find My Past. I love this log. If I have a patron who has found several names, they can log their names here and print this list out to take it home and work on later in their spare time if needed. When you use Priscilla at the library, go into Basic Priscilla, and the premium buttons, although gray, will work. If you go into the premium version, it will ask you for money. It's a little confusing that way, so just go into the basic version and take advantage of all the premium features here. I challenge you to try this out today if you haven't already. They've made a lot of improvements, and I think you'll really like this. So the pros to this program: it's easy to see end-of-line people or those who don't have a spouse or children. It loads quickly, identifies people younger than 110 years old, identifies those who are under 16 years old, identifies how you're related through them through the thin yellow line. You can set targets like year, range, or location. In the premium version, I can choose from a large selection of filters like ordinances. I can make a log to keep track of the names I want to research, which I could print out and take home. The cons: if request too many generations, it becomes hard to see and can cause the browser to freeze. Keep it to 3 to 6 generations. The premium version is a subscription of $39.95 per year, which includes 1 week free trial, but this is free at the BYU Family History Library. A tip about searching for spouses. Looking at the left side, if I decide to go into Ancestry from the Details page, it will not be able to see family trees and Ancestry as you see on the left of this screen. But if you go into Ancestry.com page, on the right side, type in information and it will include family trees. This is the same person on the bottom right as on the left, but here you see she has a spouse and parents and a picture. I can click See More Like This and it will open up other family trees. Again, we can't use this as an official source, but it can give us a place to start looking. And oftentimes these trees will provide official sources we can use. I was excited to find this picture, plus a spouse. I might not have found this little gem of information had I assumed that Ancestry from my Family Search Details page covered everything. So what do you do with that name once you get it? You can show them how to submit that name to the temple reservation list. Let them know that they can go ahead and reserve that name while they continue to find sources and check for duplicates. If anything changes as a result of their research, it will be reflected on the temple list as well. If a patron has time and is interested, you can continue to teach them. In any case, offer them the Family Tree Family Search handout located by the student desk. Explain what kind of things it teaches them, such as the Leland Moon videos on how to work in the family tree, what counts as a source, what qualifies for temple submission, and so forth. Also the handout from this class on descendancy research if they desire it. Show them how to check for duplicates, teach them the importance of sources, show them how to create a source from the Family Tree Details page, teach them about Record Seek, which is a handout, and Snipping Tool, which is a handout. Both master copies are in the workroom, and you can make copies. Explain standardization of dates and places and the 110-year rule. In D&C 18 verses 10 and 16 it says, quote, "Remember the worth of souls is great in the sight of God. And now, if your joy be great with one soul that you have brought unto me, unto the kingdom of my Father, how great will be your joy if you should bring many souls unto me." Unquote. It is my prayer that we can inspire and teach effectively strategies on how to find our ancestors, and hopefully be able to bring salvation and exaltation to all of our Heavenly Father's children. And this I say in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.